Well, we know at this time people aren't really thinking about their financial health. They're more thinking, of course, of their well-being. But it is something to make sure that you're healthy, and that is taking care of your finances, and that's where we find Scott Aitken. Scott, how are you this morning?
Doing well, Brad. Thanks for having me.
Good. All right, let's talk about, first of all, the company that you work for, because, again, this is a time that people really need to pretty much start saving. It's very important right now.
It is. Yeah. So I work with a firm called Wild Wealth Management Group. That's Wild with an E at the end. We specialize in anything from retirement planning, investment planning, tax planning, and estate planning. Our objective is to have the ability to help all our clients under one roof with anything related to their finances that they may need.
Yeah, and right now it's very crucial. I know some people don't want to talk about it. They're a little worried. Maybe they have not been working, but when you start saving right now in a crisis, you're going to be okay when we get out of this crisis, and then if you go into another crisis. Am I right?
That's exactly right. Yeah, I can't stress this enough, that having a plan and planning for the unexpected, because things like this, especially with what's happened in 2020, obviously you can't plan for that. So expect the unexpected, and having good, solid long-term plans is going to ensure the best possibility for success.
Yeah, let's knock some of the myths out of the way, because I think people are kind of like thinking when you come to a financial advisor, you got to be a millionaire, a billionaire, and that's not true, right?
That's exactly right. And some of my favorite clients to deal with are the younger clients in their 20s or 30s who are really focused on their long-term goals and objectives, who are diligent from a young age to meet their retirement planning goals. And, when you're 25 or 30, retirement seems like an eternity away, but I think anybody who's watching this could probably attest that it sneaks up on you a lot quicker than you can imagine.
Yeah, let's talk about why saving is so important, not just at a young age, but older age too.
Yeah. So, one thing that I really stress is having your emergency funds accounted for, and that's generally 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses, right? So, depending on who I'm speaking with, that number could be drastically different. But having that emergency funds accounted for, again, is going to help you succeed regardless of what's going on, especially in a time of crisis like what we're dealing with right now.
Yeah. All right. One thing I do have to say to people is that you do want to go see an advisor like you, because you'll be so surprised how much money they can save when they break everything down to you. Because some people might say, well, I don't have the money to save. You guys actually sit with them and go, well, yeah, you do if you take these measures. Am I right?
That's exactly right. And nowadays, think about all the subscription services that are out there, right? Whether it's Netflix or Hulu or the music streaming services, even things like razors coming to your door, or clothing subscription services, or whatever the case may be. I can't tell you how often it is I sit down with somebody and we're going through a budget, and they don't realize that they're spending possibly a couple $100s a month on these subscriptions. And if they're not saving, but they're spending all this money on subscription services, it's pretty easy to tweak that and create some wiggle room there to actually pay themselves, as opposed to some of these subscriptions that they may or may not even be using.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk do's and don'ts about your savings accounts, because some people think, okay, I should dip into it. Some people say I shouldn't dip into it. Let's talk a little about that.
Yeah, that's a great question and very timely. So the first thing I tell my clients is the habit of saving is much more important than the amount. Okay, so getting into that habit of paying yourself first, whether that's a fixed dollar amount or a fixed percentage of what they're taking home, is the most important and the first step to take. And typically I like my clients to ease into that, right? So if it means saving $50 of every paycheck and doing that for a few months and see how that feels, and then continuing to increase that as things progress, is important. And then on the flip side, that puts these people in a position that, through 2020 and COVID-19, if they've lost their job or taken a pay cut, as so many people have, they're just going to be in a much better position financially to be able to dip into those monies should they need them. Now, you need to realize these are emergency funds. So it doesn't mean if you see a pair of shoes you want to buy, you're going to dip into that. You really need to be in the mindset that you only touch those monies in case of an emergency. But having the ability to do so is imperative.
So, wait, you said I'm not supposed to dip into savings for those emergency pair of Adidas that I want to get?
No, you need to hold off. Yeah, that's maybe a separate savings account, but not your emergency funds.
All right, true, Scott. Scott, thank you. Tell people where they can find out more about, of course, you and the company.
Sure. So wildwealth.com. And again, that's WILDE wealth.com is our website. And my contact info, along with all of our locations and contact info, is listed on the website there.
Perfect. Scott, thanks for joining me. I'm looking forward to saving. So 2021 will be my year to buy the Adidas I want.
Best of luck, Brad. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.